Okay, so hi, good morning. Welcome to our new YouTube episode. Today, I'm really excited talking to Jordan Plant, whose brother works in our school. Jordan is a graphic designer for JTS Print. So, hi, Jordan.
Hi, all right. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. So, can you just talk to us a little bit about what you decided to do at school, when you left school, and how that's developed into your current job?
Yeah, so when I was at school, through GCSEs, I did carry on doing art. I did art, drama, and history. They were my three options.
Okay.
They were a nice range of different options, but yeah, I did them, and then went from there to Carmel College, where I studied A-level IT, history, graphic design, and BTEC sport. Because from being young, I thought I always wanted to get into something with art.
Okay.
And then whether Mr. Plant likes me to tell people, but I used to do his art homework when I was in primary school, when he was in high school. But he repaid the favour and did my French and Spanish homework for me, so it's a fair trade. And then when I got to college, with studying it, like being able to go to a college where I had a range of options instead of just one, I got caught in two mindsets of whether to study sport, like to go into university studying sports or graphics. And it was a very last minute choice where my UCAS application, I applied for both and got accepted into university for sports science or graphic design. And it was literally the last hour of UCAS acceptance that I decided to do art and graphic design further in my education.
Can you explain how the graphic design is different to art?
Yeah, so pretty much it's diving into things further. So you take your bases, what you learn from art, because I didn't have a clue how to use a computer when I first went to college. So it's a good start to study art, because then you get all your bases of how to draw, how to shade, how to use colours, how to tone, how to use shadows. And then as soon as you get into graphic design, it gets a bit further, where you then look at the bigger picture. So you look at, it's more specifically using art to market and advertise.
Okay.
So everything you see to this day, so when you go to the shop and see a bottle with packaging on, that's graphic design. It started from a drawing, which is your art skills, but then you have to learn how to use a layout, how to use typography, how to make the text read on a bottle, how to make it catch the eye of a customer, what's your target audience, what's your market, and vice versa. And you just keep diving into it like that.
Technical. It's really kind of how you use art in a commercial
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And what does that involve now in your current job? How does all that come together?
Well, in my current job at the minute, because I work for a print company, I'm the in-house designer there. So I am there to, if customers come to us with no idea of what they want, they'll send me a brief, and then I'll sit there, make them a design, send it to them and say, what do you think of this? And then it's a back and forward thing. So you need to understand that when you get into graphics, it's never you're right being the designer. Like, half the time you're probably wrong being the designer. Like, it's just trying to do what the customer wants and do it how they want. So I'll do design, send it to them.
I've worked in, we've done like brochures or magazines or things, and when you lay out, and then next thing you do, you've got a typo in there. You've got quite a lot of to-ing and throwing from your initial idea to
100%. 100%. You've never got one idea. Like, you can't just do one thing and it's right. It carries on and carries on, and then you're back and forward, and then once you've sent it out the door to get it printed, they then turn around and say to you, oh, I want to change this now. And then you're like, well, you've had the last 3 weeks to change this, but you've not. So you've got to learn to be patient and understand people. But with being at the print company, it's now the flip side of it. So I've learned how to print and how to design for specific prints.
Are you just printing paper things, or do you print onto stuff like cups and?
Oh yeah, so we do all. So it's all the stationery products, all like your letterheads, business cards, pull-up banners, cups, mugs, desk pads, but then it's a bigger picture now as well. So through the pandemic that's been going on, I've been personally involved in quite a lot of designs, and then also reproing files and making the designs right, like redrawing if they need redrawing for hand sanitizer labels. And we've sent over 15 million out to Saudi Arabia to help them through this time. So that's like different sizes, anything they can get hold of.
And I think it's that's like really interesting with the pandemic and the things that have gone on, how where work's come up from, because you wouldn't think that a printing company is involved in solving the problem, would you really?
Oh, exactly. Like we're a print company in culture.
Yeah.
And then we've been over in Jeddah, which is like how many miles? Like I wouldn't even like to guess how many miles it is, but we've been involved.
So what do you like best about it? What's the thing that you really love about your job?
It's the fact that it's different. Like you're never doing the same thing. Like I could go in work Monday morning, and then I have a thread of emails, and it's like, oh, we need a newsletter doing, which I'm doing a newsletter for Christmas for a company. So they want it all Christmas themed, and it's all for dilution and hand sanitizers, and then it's they send a lot of bleach and stuff to vets and everything. So they want loads of animals in it. So I've got to design animals with Christmas hats and try and make it all Christmassy themed. And then the day after, I could get 7 sets of business cards I need designing. And then the day after, I might have nothing. So it's really like you don't know what you're getting faced with every day. Like it's a different problem every day.
And do you get to meet the clients? Because obviously then you're working with lots of different businesses. So do you get to meet lots of different people from different walks of life?
There is. So before the pandemic, I had like personally met some of the clients. We can't really have visits at the minute because of everything that's going on. So a lot of it is like Zoom calls like this, or you're over the telephone. Like I'm on the phone to customers every day. I'll send them an email and then give them a quick call and say, look, get your email up. We'll talk through this. What do you think? So it'd be nice to get face to face with them again, because like you can get a better understanding, you can work with them, but you've got to do what suits the best at the time at the minute.
Yeah, hopefully that'll all come in soon. So have you ever had any knockbacks that you can talk of, and how have you managed to overcome those?
Not a knockback in a sense was I did work for a company before where I worked at, and it tested my morals working for them. Because with graphics, there's a big world of Photoshop, and you can do some wonderful things, but also some awful things depending how you look at them. And I worked for a beauty company, and then there was some like, oh, can you edit this? Can you edit that? Can you make this model look like this? Can you remove these spots? Can you? And it tested a lot of my morals, because I'm really against things like that. Yeah. So do that until I felt morally okay with it, and then said no, I can't do anything further, because you're giving the wrong picture. Like especially the social media age we live in now, like the mental health of young girls is really bad at the minute because of these Instagram models, which when you see them in person, they're not as they look on the picture, because they get people like designers to change things.
I think that's really important as well, because when you are looking for a job, there are obviously certain things that you can do that you'll earn a lot of money doing. And you've really got to kind of think about where do your values lie, and you know, if we're going down that road and carry on doing it, but if you're not happy with what you're doing every day, you kind of setting yourself and you're never going to achieve that kind of job satisfaction. Even if you've got millions in the bank, you won't feel good about yourself. So you've got to always
100%
stick to what's true.
100%.
In terms of your career development now, where can you go with what you're doing? Is there much room for progression within the current company, or what would you do to push yourself onwards?
Well, at the current company, because the way this company is set out, it's a small run company, so it could progress into me owning the company. If I wanted that progression, or wanted the ownership role myself, or it depends on you as a person. But within graphics, like the sky's your limit. Like, you can work for a company, you could swap to a design company, you could swap to freelance, you could do all your work individually, you could then start working for magazine companies like Vogue. Like, we had internships down at Vogue which you could apply for. So it's like there's progression in every way, and there's like different avenues because it's that wide of a area. Everybody needs a designer.
Yeah, of course.
Like every
And
business
especially whatever we're doing, whether it's online or whether it's in print or on the posters that you see, the TV, there's design happening everywhere. So
yeah,
and it's kind of something that even like we were talking about with the pandemic, it's not stopped. People still need that promotional merchandise all of the time, don't they?
100%.
It's interesting what you said though then about just going back to the idea of if you were to take over or run your own business, because I think as well a lot of industries that we look at, the core skills that we're learning in school, things like your maths and your science and your English, they're all going to help you if you ever do decide, even if you go into motor mechanics or you go into beauty or graphic design, giving you those skills and it's there's a foundation to be able to go and set up your own business in the future.
Yeah, 100%. Like I'm using maths, not so much. Well, you could say it in a way, algebra, like every day, as much as people don't like when I was in that position in year 7, 8, 9, 10, when you start learning about it, you're like, oh, what am I going to do with this? And when I leave and then you're doing your English and you're like, oh, well, I don't want that. But every day I've got to proofread work. I've got to make sure the grammar's right. I've got to make sure the spelling's right. Yeah, you've got a spell check, but that only, it's an American like program. So you have to know your English. And then I'm working on layouts and typography, and like, you know yourself, you need to split the page into columns, you need to know the right measurements, you need to know, I need a 3mm border around the full page, I need this to be 7 centimeters from that side. You've got to do maths every day. Like, especially in my job, there's a calculator at the side of me on the desk every day. You're always making numbers and figures.
I think that's the kind of thing, you know, when you're at school, you can call, well, maths, it's finance, it's accountancy, but it comes into everything. It comes into joining, it comes into mechanics. You know, there's what you're learning at school is the basis for what you're going to take with you. So just to wrap things up then, what kind of advice would you give to someone who is interested in a career in graphic design in the future? What should they be thinking about now as they take that next step to college?
I'd probably think about where your next step is. Like, see what's around, see where's close to you, see if you need to travel the distance, get books, start reading. Like, as soon as you reach university level, we had one homework which was to read a book, and they give us a design book to read. So you've got to be willing to learn. Then I know some schools do graphic design through GCSE. I don't know whether your school does it yourself.
We have art, no? We have media, so we had iMedia, so they've all got elements.
Oh yeah. So it's the fact of not being scared. Like, I had no idea how to use a computer to design when I went to college. Thought I'd be 5 years behind people because they've all done it through GCSE, but within a month I knew all the shortcuts, knew all the button layouts, I knew what I was doing. It's just the fact of, if you're willing to do it, like, try your hardest and don't be scared to fail. Like, it's not really a fail if you tried. At least you've done something.
Yeah. And you know, if you've always learned that, so even if you make mistakes,
oh yeah, 100%.
It doesn't look quite how you want it, and you have to start again. At least you know how you don't want it to look right from the beginning.
Yeah, it's just the fact of being willing to give it a go. Like, if you say I want to be a doctor, and you don't give it a go, well, how do you know that you would have liked it? Like, if you want to do something, like, get up and do it. Like, don't just, it's not going to come and find you. You've got to start looking, see where you're going to go, and progress yourself and put the hard work in, and it'll pay off.
Excellent. That's brilliant. That's great advice. Thank you very much for your time today.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
I'll
Anytime.
send you the link when it's on, and then obviously if there's anybody who's got any questions, you know, would like to know anything else from you, we've got your email and I can drop.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'd happily get some like answers back to people if they've got any questions, they need any advice, if they need any tips on work or whatnot. Like, just, I'll happily help out any way I can.
Thank you very much. Thanks. That's great. Thanks for your time today.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, bye.
Bye bye.